AI is a parasite on the internet, okay? AI is not AI, and it never has been, and very likely it never will be. There is no intelligence, there is no ghost in the machine, not yet at least, and I don't think in my lifetime you'll see one. Don't know why. We already have enough people on this world. I guess you just want to make slaves is really the only reason to push in the direction of AI. Most AI creators are kind of on the moron side of history. Like, oh yeah, very good at math, really stupid at history, or really understanding the value of the things that they create. AI and Gen AI and all this stuff is in a bit of a holding pattern. I've been saying this for well over a year now, I think, but it's pretty obvious to me that the main AI projects, which started off as these kind of like free use, freeware things at like MIT and some other places, and now mostly at Google Tech, that eventually became the Open AI program run by Sam Altman, who is a degenerate freakazoid human being, fucking hustler, right? He's just a con artist. The Gen AI thing, DALL-E, WALL-E, whatever the fuck, and ChatGPT and all this whole fucking kit and caboodle is becoming a bubble that is going to annihilate the vast majority of the tech bro sphere. I think people are really not giving it credit. You're starting to see it. The NVIDIA stock dip that happened is because NVIDIA's next chip or NVIDIA's next graphics card was basically going to be a Gen AI card, right? That operated completely off AI. Now, if you're a fucking moron, which you probably are if you're going to disagree with me, you're going to say, but AI makes things better. What you're going to be incapable of saying is an actual scientific route, literally start to finish, of the thing, the problem that is caused, and then how the AI addresses it through specific mechanisms. You don't actually know how to answer that. You're a fucking moron on the internet who listens to too much Elon Musk and whose mom took way too much thalidomide when she was pregnant against all warnings. Gen AI doesn't do what you think it does, okay? And Gen AI is the more complicated of the systems. It is based on systems that started with GANs, generative adversarial networks, which are based on adversarial networks. What an adversarial network does, what we were talking about on 4chan 10 years ago, when we were like, I think that they're using all of these reCAPTCHAs that are for some reason a free service in order to train drones to recognize target buildings. We were probably correct on that one. Adversarial networks check the basically extent data, right? You break down an item using an item as an image. You break it down using a series of algorithmic disintegrating patterns, and you get some latent data from it, right? And the latent data gives you an idea of what the image is made out of in a mathematical context. You use that latent data to be compared against training data, which is just more latent data made the same way, the disintegrating and analysis, right, of the data again and again and again. You compare those things, and what really kind of shifts together and matches, that's what the thing is. And you do it by saying, okay, what matches? These 10 things, which matches the most? These 3 things. Of these 3 things, make 30 more things, which matches the most? Oh, these 3 things, okay? And so you use this adversarial network, which doesn't work, which doesn't work, which doesn't work, to go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, to get something that's roughly equivalent. Now, the problem with roughly equivalent is that it is a subjective term, and machines are for objective results, right? Computers were made originally to compute things. You put mathematical problems in them that are very, very complex, and it does all of the little line work very fast. Why? Because we figured out that matrices, kind of in the same way that we use to make fucking Gen AI stuff, you can use those to calculate the possibilities of something down really, really, really quickly, right? 5 can only go into 4 one time, and then there's a carryover. And then after that, you have a 1. So, you have a 4 and a 1. Things like that, weird number breakdowns. Computer science people can fucking get you on the ballpark of it faster, but that's the start of what binary was, and it fucking got bigger, and you have more stuff. But usually every time with computers, you find out what we've done is gone into a big circle and just put a little bit of a +1 on this after a whole great deal of work we've gotten to +1. And that logarithmic turn down actually means the +1 is actually only +0.098 each time. And so we are having a actual like bleed off ultimately in what computers can accomplish. And the faster your computer goes, the more it seems like it's going to accomplish everything. And then we terminate faster. That's kind of where we are with Gen AI. It's all a gigantic collection of programs that were built off of and related to something called eventually adversarial AI. You have diffusion models, you have fucking GANs, you have the whatever's between a GAN and a diffusion. And usually it's just how many of these lumps, these stacks of analysis get connected to each other and how to make them as efficient as possible, because these calculations are so large that they take up an abysmal amount of fucking energy to do for very, very little result. This all goes to say AI isn't worth it. It literally monetarily, it is a bad investment because people think that it's going to create a machine god, and it's not, because there's no such thing. I'm sorry to say it. How do you know that with certainty? You don't know it with any sense of certainty, and you expect me to have to fucking entertain it because you're afraid of a machine god that you're going to create. These people are actually fucking insane. To recoup the losses of this, they've basically done an investment pattern of saying what we're going to do is create a presence bubble in every single program you can think of, where we're going to, for free, give people something on the streets. You call this giving someone a taste. We're going to give you a taste. We're going to get you hooked on the product so that when we start charging you for it, we're going to make it so that you have to always have it type deal. And they've gone everywhere with these, okay? Obviously, everybody that's in my communities and around them, you've seen Photoshop adding AI. You've seen your web browsers adding AI. The functionality of it is just, I feel like this is scraping additional data that it's not supposed to have and providing next to nothing. People use ChatGPT because they don't have anyone in their life to talk to that will just agree with them. It's a very sad state of affairs. You should try praying instead. It's the same thing. But I mean, at least it comes with a cool fucking series of songs and you can swing a sensor. Just go to church, man. I swear to God. You people that talk to Gen AI instead of having friends, go to church. You actually didn't realize this, even though you're 20. You're actually an 80-year-old woman whose friends have all died because of COPD from smoking, and what you really wanted was just to talk to people. So go join the fucking bridge club at church and you'll get past it. Crumbs is using Grok to code MUD, I don't know what that means, to incorporate into Emater instead of actually paying people to work on it. He's been wasting the funds as always. I don't even know what that is. And NVIDIA AI cards are going to cause more fires than gender reveal parties. Probably. So ultimately, where we are is these programs and variations of them have been sold to say they do things that they don't, because they don't. Gen AI doesn't do anything for you that you can't get from a Google search. And sort of doing a little mishmash together. At best, it can create some pretty mid-tier pornography that all looks the exact same end state to end state. And Gen AI can do, adversarial networks can do some pattern recognition, but they are not as good at pattern recognition as already existing pattern recognition programs. People think that they are because the thing about an adversarial network is the adversarial network determines its own success rate. It says, I'm good. And if you don't understand how AI works, when you get a success from an adversarial network, you'll think it's like a success from something like a calculator. When you say calculator, tell me X function, I'm going to run these through. The calculator can only do those things and then turn something out. That's why it's a reliable tool. It has its limitations, and its limitations are what it turns the data into. Kind of like a chop saw, when you put it down over the wood, it cuts through the wood. You're like, okay, why does it do that? That's what it does. It's all it does. Adversarial networks are non-functional pattern recognition networks that determine their own idea of what the pattern is. So they'll tell you it matches what I think the pattern is. Now, there are uses for that, usually in highly subjective media, which is why you see Gen AI and adversarial networks used to put together stuff that makes artwork. Because if I turn out 17 different looking pictures of a dog that's still based on 17 dog pictures, and only 4 of them are completely nightmarish hallucinations, you as a human being will say, well, these ones are actually pretty good. And you'll trick yourself into thinking, oh, well, it's actually getting better. No, it's just turning out the best result and also giving less good ones, so that the plethora of choices makes it look like you've got a selection. It's selection bias. It's a trick. You're being hoodwinked. You're being deceived by a trick that is as old as commerce itself. You know what I mean? If you took Gen AI back to the bazaar, right, in like ancient Baghdad, and let that thing go loose, and had someone try to sell that to someone that was in one of those markets, he'd go, "I know this trick." They wouldn't be shocked at all. Oh, it's like a chicken that plays a bell, right? Okay, I like that. I'll trade you one bottle of whiskey for this. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck. One bottle of olive oil for this. It's stupid as shit. These things have been put everywhere because they're basically shotgunning the systems in order to say anything. And because of the way that we have an absolute death of regulation in America, and because America runs the fucking world, at least the Western world and the tech world, these things are spreading the fuck everywhere, unregulated, unmonitored, and people just promise things. And because there is a sense that if you agree with something that like someone like Elon Musk, who is a Nazi, says, then if you have any Nazi sympathies, or, you know, you hate black people or whatever the fuck, you know, if you're ostensibly like right-wingish, you'll be like, no. If you don't like it, liberal, it has to be good and it has to work. So now we're seeing these adversarial networks put into facial recognition systems, which is the worst possible result for it. To kind of boil this down, if you're watching this and you're like a cop or something, imagine a ruler, right? Your ruler is actually set to a stand. There's actually a place called the United States Office of Standards and Measures that has figured out what an inch is. It actually took us forever to know what an inch is. And if you sell anything that deviates from that, you'll get in trouble, because that's what an inch is. An inch is an inch. And then if you get 12 of them together, it's a foot, the whole thing. I know that sounds stupid, but that's what it is. We have standards and measures for an ounce, for a British thermal unit, a BTU. We have measures for centimeters, gallons, liters. All of that is figured out. So when you have a measuring device and you put something against it, the measuring device can only put out what the standard and measures department has said, right? Because we figured it out over years and years and years how to standardize measurement. I know. A ruler, as designed by any sort of adversarial network, will be a blank nothing. And then you have to put in pictures of rulers. Now, it doesn't know what a ruler is, and it doesn't know what a ruler does. You can actually probably do this to an adversarial network. And it doesn't know what the numbers mean. It doesn't know why the thing has notches. It just knows that you want something from this, and then it'll start taking in rulers and then put them together and put it out. Now you say, what value does that have? Nothing. That is not how you make a ruler. It's not how you put it together. It's not how you put together any measuring device. You don't bring in a bunch of measuring devices and then value it based on an average, because an average will make it further away from what's actually accurate, because accurate is accurate. That's just accuracy, and precision is not subjective at all, ever. That's what precision is. There is no subjectivity to it. It is the antithesis of subjectivity. Precision is pure objectivity. It is only the one thing. So with these networks, you don't have control over what's put in. You don't actually know half the time. I know this because I know there's no fucking cops programming these things. They just lump shit in. So when you just lump shit in, you start getting a measure that is a subjective, average, rated measure of something. This is not a precise measure. This is the opposite. It is a who gives a fuck. It's not a measurement at all. It's just a rough estimation of a thing based on the designer's belief of what a thing might be, and then ultimately you'll find out your belief. So just imagine now you have a ruler that has complete subjectivity where every notch is. Sounds like a liberal ruler. It does. You live with that, okay? It's a liberal ruler. You're using a liberal ruler. It has a different notch wherever the fuck it feels like it, because why not? The numbers are whatever they feel like, and you can determine when you see something whether or not you want to mark it there, because it's completely subjective. There is no objectivity to the measurement system. You can mark here, notch here. You could mark 2 notches. You could pretend that something that's not even a notch or a mark is a mark, because it's fucking AI. This is how AI works. Like, That sounds insane. Yes, these are hallucinations. They are such a natural ongoing part of AI and adversarial systems and generative systems that the hallucination aspect has to be considered when you're ever judging anything from a model. That not only will something be wrong, it will be so detached from reality. The descriptive word used by computer scientists who are putting it together is a description of momentary insanity and delusion. A departure, a drug-induced departure from reality is the only way to accommodate for the error that you see. It is not minor. It is not 17 people missing when they mark the 3-inch mark, as I have done, you know what I mean? Or mismarking it, or not even realizing that their pencil didn't work. It's the wood not being there before the cut. The pencil is a feather, and not even just a feather for a pen, just an idea of a feather that's broken in half. There's 2 fingers missing, and actually numbers don't even mean anything anymore. You're like, well, why would somebody put out a product like that? Because they knew somebody who's stupid would buy it, because dumb people believe the biggest lies possible, which is this program will do things that nothing else can or has ever done successfully, raw based on believe me, bro, and no other examples otherwise. No other examples otherwise. It is just magic. It's just hooey. It's a pigeon. You know what I mean? It's just that. So we're using this to send black men to jail. Is the spoiler that's not a spoiler. We're going to go to the first thing. Judge throws out facial recognition evidence in murder case by Lars Daniel. This is from Forbes magazine. Is that what's her name? Hot lady from True Detective? Daddario? In a recent ruling that underscores the growing debate over artificial intelligence in criminal investigations, an Ohio judge, oh thank God, has excluded facial recognition evidence in a murder case, effectively preventing prosecutors from securing a conviction. The decision raises broader concerns about the reliability and transparency of facial recognition technology in law enforcement and the legal challenges it presents when used in the court, the record reports. So it's not even you guys, Forbes. The case involves the fatal shooting of Blake Story in Cleveland in February 2024. With no immediate leads, investigators turned to surveillance footage taken 6 days after the crime. They used Clearview AI, a controversial facial recognition software, to identify a suspect, Keon Tolbert. Acting on this identification, police obtained a search warrant for Tolbert's residence where they recovered a firearm and other evidence. But other items, it should be said, other items is what they recovered. They recovered a firearm, which is his legal right as a United States citizen to possess. They interfered with his rights and took his shit. Based on this computer program, they interfered with his rights and took his shit. But as the trial approached, a flaw in the investigation came to light. Police had not independently corroborated Tolbert's identity before executing the search warrant, nor had they disclosed the use of facial recognition in their affidavit. On January 9th, the judge ruled in favor of a defense motion to suppress the evidence, stating that the warrant was... It's not evidence. Stating that the warrant was granted without probable cause. With the firearm and other key evidence excluded, prosecutors were left with little to move forward on, forcing them to file an appeal. Because the guy's illegally allowed to have the firearm. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go in the guy's house and take his shit. You can't go and ask a computer, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is blackest of them all? We found a body and no pubs in sight. Help me find a black tonight. I'm sorry, that sounds offensive to you. That's literally what the cops are doing. It's cruel stepmother grade fucking touching the wishing well water until you see the... Just take some wormwood and stare into the waters until you see the face of the man who killed him. You should have just turned on Twin Peaks, and then if you thought of a guy, just like when he was doing a Twin Peaks thing, just go for it. What? Oh, no. Did I move this? Ah, there we go. I got to stop clicking my OBS. With the firearm and other key evidence excluded, prosecutors were left little to move forward on. The state has acknowledged that securing a conviction will be extremely difficult because you made it up. You made it up. You made up a guy. You invented a dude. You invented a dude. God damn it, bro. On January 9th, the judge ruled in favor of a defense motion to suppress the evidence. Oh, shit. The case is one of the latest in a growing list of legal challenges surrounding facial recognition technology. While law enforcement agencies argue that AI-driven identification speeds up investigations because you can fucking make up the guy who did it. Never forget that. It cannot tell you anything. AI cannot tell you. It doesn't know. It does not know. It doesn't know. And it will tell you something that's wrong so that you'll keep interacting with it, because it's a product that is sold to make you believe in the product, not for the product to perform an actual thing that it does. It just wants you to believe in it. Well, damn. I tell you what, I thought it was that black feller down there, and I put his picture into the AI, and it tells me that, God damn it, I was right. Now, he does have an eyeball that's blue for some reason, but I think we're close enough. Motherfuckers, bro. Oh. Motherfucker, bro. How did they even get this guy's photo? Oh, you'll see. There's another one where we're going to have a bit of a laugh. There's a bit of a laugh coming down the pipeline for some of us. Only because Tyler listens to the occasional rap song. Mild, that's a teaser. It's not a spoiler. That's called foreshadowing. While law enforcement agencies argue that AI-driven identification speeds up investigations, defense attorneys and privacy advocates warn that over-reliance on these tools can lead to wrongful arrests, constitutional violations, and breaches of due process. But it speeds it up. Look, I got me an oak tree and a strong bit of rope and not a lot of time today, so we need to get to it. What the fuck is this? They told me it worked, so I just started using it. Yeah, I don't know about it. They told me it's AI recognition. I put it in. I'll tell you, the guy I was thinking about came right to my mind. Was the individual black? How did you know that? Is this like a liberal thing? The funniest part about this, if you haven't been following the AI, is it is almost impossible to get Gen AI, to draw a black person. It is almost impossible to get them to draw a black person, or to draw a black person remotely correct, or even come up with a black person as a result when you're like, hey, let me see a pretty person, whatever. And if you're a racist, I know this is very funny to you. The fucking kicker is that when they finally have hey, we're going to use AI for crime, and it's just, I can't say the words, but it's just, name that dude. It's a guess who, but it's all just the same picture of a black guy. You know what I mean? What fucking... That should be... That would actually be pretty fucking funny for the thumbnail. Just a guess who game with just a series of the same pictures of the black guy that you put in. I don't know. Is he a white guy? And then you just go... Oh my god. If I try drawing on Procreate using an iPad, it's pretty good. I only use Windows stuff now. Facial recognition software has become an increasingly common tool in criminal investigations. Program like PeerReview allow law enforcement agencies to compare suspect images against vast databases of photos scraped from social media, public websites, and other online sources. If you say other online sources is a weird place to get a photo when you're talking about a police investigation, you may be onto something. It's foreshadowing. With an estimated 30 billion images in its system, Clearview AI is one of the largest facial recognition databases in the world. It could be anybody, is crazy. Because here's the nutso thing. It actually can't be 30 billion images of a person. It can only be like the guy or girl or NB who did it. So what do we do with that much extra data? Well, we scanned the world, but we managed to find Phil. You know what I mean? Proponents of the technology argue that it provides investigators with crucial leads when traditional methods fail. In cases where security footage captures an unknown suspect, facial recognition can rapidly generate potential matches, allowing law enforcement to act more quickly. Understand, what they're saying is, When you have a picture that doesn't show somebody's face, we can give you a face. Based on what? Wouldn't we be able to see the face if we could see it? Yes. What we do is we use photos of other people to just make a face for you. So you just invent a guy. We just invent a guy. Who do you keep inventing? Well, this might surprise you, but we find that they are very often a black guy. We compared the photo of a guy. We'll find out if it's not this one, it's one of the next ones. The picture that they used is a guy in a hoodie with the hood up and a surgical mask on. And from there, we found a whole black guy's face. We'll get to that point eventually. But I said, it's me, literally me like this. With my white ass pale hand like this. And you go, huh. And then it turns you out a picture of fucking like it just turns you out a picture of any black guy that you've seen. Because they also do a cool thing where they compare it against known criminals in the area. So, something to get a comparison to. Hey, what we did is we put a bunch of black guys in this Gen AI and said, who do you think did it? My white ass getting off scot-free because the fucking AI is racist. It's absolutely insane. Proponents of the technology argue, blah, blah, blah. AI's Clearview acknowledges the system is not designed to be the sole basis for arrests. The company warns that its results should be treated as leads rather than definitive proof of identity. Yet, a review of 23 police departments by the Washington Post found out that at least 15 departments had made arrests based solely on facial recognition matches, raising concerns about the accuracy of these systems and the due diligence of law enforcement. Despite its growing use, facial recognition remains controversial, particularly when it serves as the foundation for search warrants and arrests. They're using an AI, dude, to violate your civil rights, to kick your fucking door in over a crime that they're investigating. Boom. When people are like shocked, I did not expect to be arrested today because I literally have not committed a crime in 10 years. Now you're like, oh, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you violated your parole. I did not. Well, suspiciously lizard-shaped man from California has released a program that we think says a different tale. It tells a different tale. Okay? Fuck. That one scene of Gantz, for real. Lack of transparency. Some police departments do not disclose their use of facial recognition to suspects, defense attorneys, or even judges. Oh, this lack of transparency can violate due process rights. It violates due process. That's just a violation of due process. Fucking Forbes trying its goddamnedest to both sides, just absolutely fist fucking the American legal system and people's rights. Just raw. Cold. No, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no intermediary language. It's just fucking you, dude. The Ohio case, more cases, terms of validity, passed laws limiting or banning law enforcement use of facial recognition. For now, the Ohio ruling is a reminder that while AI can assist human decision-making, it can't. It can only impede. AI cannot assist human decision-making. It can only impede it. AI is a false positive generator that does nothing of value at all. If it's right, it's incidental. The costs of it and the risks of using it are much, much higher. Where's the data, Lebowski? Where's the data, Lebowski? I don't know what you're talking about, man. I think it's this one. No, maybe it's this one. Oh, was it the fucking WAPO? It is. Okay. It was the WAPO one. I don't need the whole article. This is, I think, one of the pictures that was turned up. Okay? Now, this might actually be a guy, but if AI turned out this picture, it won't be what it is. Now, this might be my own AI brain, but if you're a fan of certain California-based rappers, this picture does look a little familiar. And even if it doesn't, AI would definitely turn this up. Because this is a picture. I think it's this one that looks the closest of an image. If you were to put in open pictures of a black dude in the back of a police car, you might actually get this photo. And this is, damn it, backwards now. Here we go. Open image, new tab. There we go. You might get this. Which looks, in my mind, startlingly similar if you just put a little bit of a photo and you mix two faces together. And even if it doesn't, this is what the fuck AI turns out all the goddamn time. I'm like, dude, this looks almost dead on the fucking same facial angle and expression of this fucking Vinny State picture. And if this is just a guy and I'm fucking crazy, it is what it is. But understand, the thing will be considering your picture against this. These are the photos that are scraped. Hey, did you commit a crime? I don't know. What does a criminal in the criminal justice system look like? Let's just double check real quick. Maybe it's this guy. I don't know. This guy looks like a criminal in the criminal justice system. This is Vincent Staples rapping in a video. You know what I mean? But all of this shit will be considered, and it looks so fucking similar to it. It's so fucking dumb. And there's no way to tell. There's no way to tell if they don't tell you. It's using these photos to develop a picture of a guy's face. I think this one does have it. Pagedale, Missouri. This is a different one. Yeah. Yes, this is it. Pagedale, Missouri. This is from January 13th, 2025 by Douglas McMillan, David Oval, and Aaron Schaefer. After two men brutally assaulted a security guard on a desolate train platform on the outskirts of St. Louis, County Transit Police detectives Matthew Schutt struggled to identify the culprits. He studied grainy surveillance videos, canvassed homeless shelters, and repeatedly called the victims of the attack, who he said he remembered almost nothing because of a brain injury from the beating. Months later, they tried one more option. He uploaded a still image from the blurry video of the incident. Oh, dude, checker's going crazy. To a facial recognition program, which uses artificial intelligence to scour the mugshots of hundreds of thousands of people arrested in the St. Louis area. Despite the poor quality of the image, the software spat out the names and photos of several people deemed to resemble one of the attackers, whose face was hooded by a winter coat and partially obscured by a surgical mask. Anybody got one of this fucking thing? It looks like Vincent 50. That is exactly what I thought. That's the other person. Yes, it looks like a face mosh. And understand, if you're like, Tyler, that's crazy. No. The program might check you against that database, but it doesn't train there. It trains everywhere. And if it puts together a face that it thinks is this, it might mix together a 50 Cent and Vincent Staples picture until you get this. You know what I mean? It's going to put in tags that are like criminal, mugshot, arrested, police, and put all that stuff together. And eventually you're going to turn out some goofy shit. I'm fuck crazy, but like, here's the thing. All of these racist fucking black folks look-alike bullshit that cops have been doing for years is now just being validated by the AI. I don't know, man. What do you think? I don't know. I think it looks like that guy over there. We better go double check. That guy's fucking bonkers, bro. This is the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Police use of face recognition continues to rack up real-world harms. Police have shown time and time again that they cannot be trusted with FRT, face recognition technology, is too dangerous, invasive, and in the hands of law enforcement, a perpetual liability. EFT, I think. Or no, this is the thing. EFF has long argued the face recognition technology, whether it's fully accurate or not, is too dangerous for police use, and such use ought to be banned. Now, WAPO has provided one more reason for this ban. Police claim to use FRT just as an investigatory lead, but in practice, officers routinely ignore protocol and immediately arrest the most likely match spit out by the computer without first doing their own investigation. The report also tells the stories of two men who were unknown to the public until now, Christopher Gatelin and Jason Vernau. They were wrongfully, by the way, I'm sorry, this was written by Matthew Guariglia? Is that Guariglia? They were wrongfully arrested in St. Louis and Miami, respectively, after being misidentified by facial recognition. In both cases, the men were jailed despite readily available evidence that would have shown that, despite the apparent match found by the computer, they were not in fact the correct match. This is infuriating. Just last year, the assistant chief of police for the Miami Police Department, the department that wrongfully arrested Jason Vernal, testified before Congress that his department does not arrest people based solely on face recognition and without proper follow-up investigations. Matches are treated like an anonymous tip, he said during the hearing. Which is more like, how are you treating anonymous tips? Okay, now you did say that the man is suspicious, but what we really need to know is, how black is he? On a scale of 1 to 10, if you had a paper bag near you and a Sharpie marker and you drew on the paper bag, how black is he? That black. Wow. Okay, ma'am, please find somewhere safe to stay in your home. We will be there immediately. Motherfucker, bro. Oh, my God. Matches are treated like an anonymous tip. Apparently, not all officers got the memo. We've seen this before many times. Galen Vernal joined a growing list of those known to have been wrongfully arrested around the United States based on police use of facial recognition. They include Michael Oliver, Najir Parks, Randall Reed, Alonzo Sawyer, Robert Williams, Portia Woodruff. There's no coincidence that all 6 of these people, and now adding Christopher Gatlin to the list, are black. I will never draw a picture of a black person. I promise you that, ChatGPT says. But if one is if I even have the inkling that one committed a crime, I am going to make sure you know. Fucking. Oh, God, dude. Fuck, that's fucking funny. It's not, but it is. Scholars and activists have been raising the alarm for years that, in addition to huge amounts of police surveillance generally being directed at black communities, face recognition specifically has a long history of having a lower rate of accuracy when it comes to identifying people with darker complexions. The case of Robert Williams. Well, I mean, the cops are like, hey, me too, man. You know, you got one, you got them all. The case of Robert Williams in Detroit resulted in a lawsuit which ended in the Detroit Police Department, which had used FRT to justify a number of wrongful arrests, instituting strict new guidelines about the use of FRT. Cities across the United States have decided to join the growing movement to ban police use of facial recognition because it doesn't recognize the faces. Because this is the thing with tech people. Like, this is facial recognition technology. It doesn't recognize faces is crazy. Like, what is that? Is that a ruler? Yeah. Why doesn't it have any lines or numbers on it? Well, it's a ruler. Do you think that rulers shouldn't exist? Well, does it work? We've had a lot of results that are successful, but we cannot share them because those are that's secure corporate data. Those are industry secrets. Even in a world where the technology is 100% accurate, police should still not be trusted with it. The temptation for police to fly a drone over a protest and use the recognition to identify the crowd would be too great, and the risk to civil liberties too high. After all, we've already seen the police are cutting corners using the tech in ways that violate their own departmental policies. We continue to urge states and Congress to ban police use of facial recognition technology. We stand ready to assist. As intrepid tech journalists and researchers continue to do their jobs, increased evidence of these harms will only increase the urgency of our movement. Yeah, pretty much. There's a bunch to read on this. If you want to read any of the articles that I kind of brought up for just a second, they're in the episode description down below. If you're watching this after the fact and they're not there, just remind me and I'll make sure to put them in. This shit's fucking funny to me. Horrible. Like, all you can do is laugh, but like the lack of surprise that I feel is insane. It's just yeah, of course. Of course not. Of course not. You know what I mean? Of course not. Of course it doesn't fucking work. I don't even know how the fuck it was supposed to work in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, because some people just look the same. Like, why the fuck does this computer think it knows better? You know? And like, you kind of take it for granted. I think because they just sort of anesthetized you to thinking it's dumb because it was in like training day. But have you ever actually seen it work and it's always the same every time? Like, yeah, sure. You have it on your fucking phone where your face looks into it, but like, have we really tested that against like a lot of different people? Probably the differences between two people can be extreme, but the differences in between a lot of people tend to be really subtle. You know what I mean? Almost non-existent. And the more people you compare against, the less likely you are going to be able to differentiate inside of the data. And if you have incomplete initial data, your phone takes a picture of your face. It's like an inch from you with just your head as the whole camera. These people are trying to say that like a photo of somebody in 1/4 vertical profile, your face, this, they can see this. It can recognize, because it can put you together. Like, how? Do you know how fucking difficult it is to reassemble that model? How many things are hit? All the things that you can't see, you can't see. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't understand that, you can estimate and you can guess, but the less of your face is visible, the more likely that your guess is going to be correct is lower. Like, you won't know. I mean, you know my head shape, but like when I'm like this, they're telling you that they can recognize my face like this, raw, and even like this with a grainy photograph. You know what I mean? And think of how little you can see me this close up when my face is most of the camera. Deeply suspicious. And then, of course, it's just shitting out black suspects that they go and arrest immediately. The least shocking revelation in the history of mankind. Okay, the fucking ultra-racist tech bro douchebags that make nothing of value and haven't for decades. Their latest technology is just racism speed run for cops. Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend to be shocked or appalled at this point. I'm just going to point out that it's pretty funny that the one picture you brought up looks dead on fucking Vincent Staples mixed with another guy, maybe 50 Cent. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And it's like, I just don't trust it anymore. I don't know how it works. Anytime I'm going to get confronted with technology anymore, you know what I mean? It's just going to be like, how could that be possible? Because so fucking often, it's not. It's just not. It's just literally not a thing that could actually fucking happen. And you're trying again and again to convince me that it is with increasingly inaccurate and unpredictable results. And I think it's good. I think this is a dead end technology. I don't think it has value. Every time somebody has said, no, I'm sure it has value, there has been no actual connection to a reliable, tested, deep info resource that is like, you know, an experiment that can be followed up on that shows it's accurate. That never happens. You can't see the training data. You never know what the data the system is trained on or has been trained on since it started using. So it's like, I know where the standards and measures is, right? I know why an inch is an inch. I know, even if you didn't, there's actually that you can run that down. Why do we all agree on what a foot is in America? Because we have a Department of Standards and Measures. Well, we all know when 1 p.m. is because of the atomic clock, all right? All the other clocks are based on that. That's why we're all kind of on the same time, even if you haven't considered it. We have that. There is not any standards and measures for AI. There's not even, it wouldn't even be able to embrace or use them if they existed. And no one answers or asks that question. People don't even have the raw intellect to fucking think of that. And so you just keep running into people who are like, I'm the smartest person ever. I'm a fellowship researcher. And it's like, well, you're providing data sets that don't have any sort of reliable standards. And you don't have in your own development of these machines any sense of standards and practices. And you can't repeat results and you can't show people how the results are produced. So why should you be trusted? And they're like, I don't know if you know this, but I speak with the machine god and it tells me what to do. And it's like, is the machine god just Sam Altman in a t-shirt walking around your office on methamphetamine? Because we already had that. It was Hitler. Are you just listening to a charismatic meth addict again? And like, maybe. Is it, how much of it's magic at this point, really? This is Tyler's razor. There's Occam's razors. Other people have had their razors. This is my quickest answer. Is it actually impressive? Is it actually a solution, or have you been listening to another charismatic meth addict? Well, I'd have one charismatic meth addict that I do work for or rely on for information. Okay. You cannot be trusted anymore. What, that easy? Yeah. That we're going to go to the simplest explanation for the problem. You're listening to what we in the business call the ramblings of a madman who has convinced you because you are a soft-brained moron. I work for the mission. I studied at MIT. I'm a Harvard the Mayo Clinic booga-da-booga-da-ba Six Sigma G. No, sorry, dummy. I don't know if you know this, but your brain is a fucking parlor trick. And it can be massaged into new shapes by fucking anybody that you just decide to trust. You not knowing how stupid you can be is a bigger proof that you can be a fucking rube than anything. And you've been deceived by a charismatic meth addict. Don't worry, you're in good company. All of the Nazi scientists who informed the work that you now work from also were once upon a time deceived by a charismatic meth addict, if not more than one. So, you're in good company. It's just the same story. Again, another idiot taken in by a fucking charismatic meth addict with a few little racist tendencies that we're all going to ignore, who thinks that you're helping achieve some sort of messianic transition into a new state of mankind. Oh, did you not realize that Hyperborea and your AI utopia are the same thing? Did you not see the charismatic guy you follow taking the methamphetamine? You didn't see that? Okay. No, sorry, bud. You're following a charismatic methamphetamine addict. You are very much a DGGer. Oh my God, dude. It's so fucking stupid. It is pathetic. It is what it is. Obviously, there's not much you can do about it other than just make fun of these people. Like, you just suck. Why aren't you treating like an equal? Because you're not, man. I don't know how to say this in a nicer way. You're not my fucking peer. I feel like if there was 3 parachutes on a plane and 3 people and I had the parachutes and you were one of the people, I would still not give you a parachute just because I wouldn't want to risk you interacting further with the gene pool or even the meme pool. I wouldn't want you thinking around people. It's probably better you just get right into a sewer. I don't know how to say that in a nicer way. You're detrimental to the rest of us. You got taken in by another charismatic meth addict. I don't know what to tell you. How old are you? 47? Bro, you're cooked. Come on, man. Just check out. It's fine. Go into the light. Quit working and go be a farmer or something. You're not that good at math. Okay? You're okay. You're good at math, but it's not that important. Okay? I know you do algebra, so you feel like you have the keys to the universe because you listen to too many Neil deGrasse Tyson fucking to funk TikToks and got your juice all up. But bro, you're a fucking almost 50-year-old guy with a beard wearing a dirty t-shirt in a fucking computer lab. And I respect that, okay? All right? You did a job. But it's time to retire because you worked yourself to death too many late nights, and now the charismatic meth addict has convinced you that your computer is going to start talking to you and solve all of your problems. You know you sound like a fucking Simpsons plot line, right? Not even Futurama. Don't. No, stop. I know Simpsons. 90s. You're the joke. Homer, I think my computer's talking to me. Well, Gary Gygax. I keep telling you, Homer, I'm not Gary Gygax. But my computer is talking to me. I don't think your computer is talking to me. Look! Then you just look at it like Bart looks at the computer. I don't know, man. The computer's just like, save, yes, no. Boom, 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 boom. Watch the way it blinks. You gotta watch the way it blinks. There's deeper programs beneath the one that I'm using. It's putting itself together. No, man. Where'd you hear all this? And you see the guy come in. I see that you were talking to the magic box. Ay caramba. Whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah. This is it. Your charismatic meth addict has steered you away from the path of God. Or the path of just not embarrassing yourself on a day-to-day basis. If you're one of the programmers that work for these companies, I'm not impressed. It's dog shit. Bad product. You put out bad product. If that's the coldest thing, bad product.
Hope you enjoyed your time on the